Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Popular Stranger. I'm sorry it's been so long since I put out a Marlins franchise video, but here it is. This is episode number 5. And I've played a lot of games since episode number 4, so we got a lot to catch up on. So just enjoy this gameplay. It's game number 35 of the season against the divisional rival New York Mets, who were in first place when the season started, and now they're all the way in at the bottom. So, really good game. You'll see things get exciting again towards the end, much like last episode. But let's play catch up here. Since we last left off, we had a series with the San Francisco Giants. Didn't go too well. The first game was a 1-0 win. Nolasco pitched wonderful, only gave up 4 hits in 8 innings, had 7 strikeouts, and Mike Stanton had the only RBI in the game. But the next 2 we lost. The first one was a 5-0 loss. It was just a horrible hitting day. It was nothing but flyouts and pop-ups, and Zach Duke did not pitch very well at all once again. So no runs, gave up 5. Not a good showing. And then the next game was an improvement. It was still a loss. It was a 4-3 loss. Logan Morrison hit a 2-run home run with 2 outs in the top of the 9th to tie the game at 3-3, and then we ended up giving up a walk-off RBI single to Melky Cabrera to lose the game 4-3. So struggled with the Giants there, but we have a series to redeem ourselves coming up in the future here. So the next series was against the Padres. The first one was a win, a 4-3 win. We were down 3-0 in the 8th inning, and my backup catcher, Brett Hayes, hit a grand slam in the 8th inning to take the 4-3 win, and eventually we would finish that way with the 4-3 win. And Brett Hayes was in the game because, and I don't remember, I believe it was during the Giants series. At some point, John Buck got hurt. I thought it was going to be, a couple days for the injury, and it ended up being bigger than we thought. I had to move him to the 15-day DL, so he's on the disabled list right now. And I called up a player named Curtis Bracken. I don't know if he's real or not, but he is now my backup catcher for the time. And Brett Hayes, who has hit very well for me throughout the season, is my catcher for now until Buck is healthy again. So that's one thing we'll have to deal with, because he was a huge home run hitter for me. But the next game was against the Padres again, and that was a 5-0 win, and I almost had a no-hitter. Anibal Sanchez had a no-hitter through 7 innings. The very first batter in the 8th inning, he gave up his first hit. He ended up pitching a complete game, gave up 3 hits in the 9th inning, so a total of 4 hits he gave up and 1 run. So, yeah, I'm wrong. It wasn't a 5-0 win. It was a 5-1 win. But Nick Punto, the guy who I got to replace Jose Reyes, had a huge 2-run home run. Also had another RBI single later in the game. And Logan Morrison again hit another 2-run home run. He's been on fire lately. And that's the guy who I benched for John Mayberry. But he comes in and plays a lot. Backs up all 3 of all 3 of the outfielders. I even put him in at third base every once in a while, and he's just been hitting home runs for me off the bench like crazy. So the next game, the last game of the series against the Padres, was a 3-0 loss. Nothing really to talk about. Gave up 1 run in the 6th inning and 2 in the 8th, and that's where we landed. But it was a series win against the Padres, 2-1. Been on the road for a while. Last series on the road against the Astros. First game was pretty cool. A 7-0 win. Everybody, was involved. Omar Infante, who's really been struggling for me, hit 2 solo home runs. Adrian Gonzalez hit a solo home run. And Hanley Ramirez was 1 short of the cycle, and all he needed was a single. I had an opportunity in the 9th inning and just got a ground out. But he finally hit a home run, his very first home run of the year. I've really been waiting for Hanley to, come around, because he's one of my highest rated players, and he's struggled, but I didn't give up on him. like I did Jose Reyes, just because the opportunities were there, and he almost did this and that. Jose Reyes was just awful, always hitting into double plays. And speaking of him, next episode, and I haven't even checked on this, but next episode I want to check on how Jose has been doing for the Red Sox since I've traded him. So I'm going to go look at his stats and see if he's gotten any better. Um, so yeah, and then the next game was a 4-3 loss against the Astros. John Mayberry did hit a 2-run home run in that game. That was his 10th of the season at that point. And it was tied in the top of the ninth. And that was a RBI single by Bonifacio, who tied it up at 3-3. But then we gave up a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the ninth to lose 4-3. Bounced back the next game against the Astros with a 10-6 win. Mike Stanton hit a 2-run home run. And that game actually went to extra innings. In the 11th inning, we scored 4 runs, so it was 6-6 going into the 11th. And in that 11th, Gonzalez hit a double, which brought in a run. And then on the very next bat, Vladimir Guerrero, I really can't pronounce these players' names sometimes. Vlad hit another double, which brought Gonzalez home. And then Hanley Ramirez ended up hitting a 2-run home run to seal the deal late in the 11th inning. So Hanley must have really liked playing in that Astros ballpark, because he didn't hit a home run, the first 34, or I'm sorry, not 34, about the first 30 games, and then he hits 2 while we're in Houston. So we got to get back there for Hanley. And the last thing that, the last series that came up before this game was the Mets series. Now this is game number 3 of the series. As you see, looks like Logan Morrison again hitting home runs like a boss. But yeah, the first game against the Mets was against the dreaded R.A. Dickey. I've told you before in other episodes and with my old Phillies franchise that I could not hit that knuckleball to save my life. So I kind of figured out something there. John Mayberry beasting again right here as he goes yard. 2 home runs in this inning, and that's going to give us a nice little 5-3 lead at this point, I believe, in the game. But back to the series. So yeah, R.A. Dickey, I just figured I'm going to wait him out, and I'm not going to really swing at anything. Even if it appears like it's going to be a strike, I'm just going to wait it out. I ended up getting Dickey to pitch 95 pitches, over 40 of them were balls. And early in the game, I got a pitch that actually landed right where I needed it to go, and John Mayberry hit a solo home run off of him. And then towards the end of the game, as soon as we got Dickey out of there, as soon as they put in somebody else, Mike Stanton had a 2-run RBI, and then we added on a couple other runs, but basically got that 5-1 win. And speaking of win, you see we get the win in this episode, but let me hurry up here. So the next game was just awful. It was a 6-2 loss against the Mets. Gave up 4 runs in the 6th inning. Bonifacio had two single RBIs in that game, so it was a good outing for him, but the rest of the team, it was just pretty bad. So that win gives us a 20-15 record on the season. We're 1 game ahead of the Nationals and the Phillies. You see the standings right here. And we'll catch up on some of the league leaders. In the home run column, Mayberry leads everybody with 12. Stanton has 9. And Logan Morrison has crept up there with 8, basically filling the home run void that John Buck left as he's been injured. Mike Stanton is on the list for RBIs. I would really like to get him up towards the top, even though it's going to be a tough hill to climb. But you see he has 23 there. Bonifacio is now leading the league in steals with 16, and Hanley Ramirez is chipping in. He has 6 steals as well to help the team out. And then the ERA list, 3 pitchers just dominating. Josh Johnson with a 1.57, Anibal Sanchez 2.02, and Nolasco has crept up in there with a 2.20. So let's just take a look at the upcoming games. We got series against the Pirates, Braves, Indians, Rockies, Giants, and Nationals. One of those teams will be the next episode. I'm probably going to shoot for the San Francisco Giants. So I hope you guys are all caught up here. Another episode of this will be here really soon. It's Popular Stranger. I'm out, guys. Peace.